John O'Brien at the Watertown, Wisconsin Research and Educational Blocks, doing a little bit of education on annual clovers. February 13th, we had a couple of really heavy snows and they've melted off now. Looking at a really thick, dense stand that was planted early last fall in annual clovers, and you can see the way it looks now. We'll share pictures as we move into the spring, but again, some people are confused or just do not understand that just because a forage is an annual clover does not mean that it won't regrow, doesn't mean that it won't persist into the next year. Certain species that are really cold tolerant, there's two different super cold tolerant forages out here that stay green to about 10 below zero, and another new variety that also is cold tolerant. And again, so many other of my clients have reported a lot of usage into the winter in this particular blend. So yield-wise, the annual clovers will tend to yield 2 to 3 times more than a lot of perennials. And there's a science, and I'm going to show you guys some other plots. This blend is a blend of alfalfa, long-lasting clover, and an annual clover. We got another block here that's a blend of forbs, annual clovers, long-lasting perennial clovers, creeping alfalfa. So again, here's the science behind it. What grows the fastest tends to last the shortest. What tends to last the longest takes the longest to get roots and get growth underneath of it. So some perennials that will last a long time, they grow slow. The first year yields are a lot lower than years 2 and 3 in some cases. So deer, being selective grazers, tend to go after the forages that are most desirable at any point in time. And what the farming world, the rotational grazing world, the pasturing world understands is ideally you want to keep forages out there growing really rapidly as fast as we can get a canopy, but we want to keep cattle, or even in this case deer, off it for up to 60 days, at least 45 days. So stop and think about that. How many of you guys could keep the deer out of your perennial, your new food plots for 45 to 60 days? Nobody, right? So here's a trick. There's nurse crops, there's companion crops. In a lot of cases, we can use oats or peas and oats. Some grains as a nurse crop, companion crop. It grows really fast. The deer will tend to pick those out earlier on. Or we use annual clovers. I've been doing this since 1991. And so what we do is some of these annual clovers grow a lot more rapidly. They get out of the ground quicker than some of these long-lasting perennials. They're more desirable because of their growth habits. And again, that's agronomics, and a lot of the wildlife industry does not quite understand how that works. But trust me here, the deer will tend to go after those. They, in essence, become like a sacrifice crop, allowing the longer lasting, slower to establish perennials to just do just that. Get roots underneath them. That's why so many people have issues with perennials not lasting long, because they go into the winter without having a well-developed root system and the right nutrients to feed those roots, to feed them to get them out of the ground rapidly, but also to get them those plants to sustain itself and to be able to handle harsh winter conditions. So looking at all these blocks here, and again, we're going to be really happy. We still could see winter kill. We could still see root rot if Mother Nature becomes cruel here the rest of the winter. But this is a great time to be plot scouting. And again, a lot of these different blends, we have annual clovers here. And it's also part of integrated weed management. Again, trying to get a fast, dense sward and a canopy can keep weeds at bay. There you go, a little education on annual clovers from John O'Brien.